Jimmy is a fairly young boy, roughly the height of an average Zendian male. He has slightly long blonde hair, light skin, and an adequate adjective to describe him would be lanky. Originally, Jimmy didn't even belong to the realm of Zendo. Little is known about the realm he called home, a part that he called it home. Jimmy lived at home for the majority of his life, living with his best friend Billy. At home, the two would often get themselves in fun-filled adventures, much like those small children get into during the hot summer days. It was at home that Jimmy also met Corey, who helped him find his way to the grocery store, and Schnickelfritz, who briefly tried to bring harm to Jimmy and his friends over the last box of a popular fruit-flavored cereal. Jimmy, as he often did with the people he met, made friends with both these people. And on they went on their fun-filled adventures, until the day Herr Sturm asked for their help. Not long after, the massacre took place. After being brought back from death, on top of everything he had seen during the desolate massacre, Jimmy didn't feel like the same person anymore, and rightfully so. He was missing his second half, as Billy hadn't been so fortunate to be gifted with the same second chance at life that Jimmy had been. The world Jimmy saw and clung on to since he was a child had been shattered, and after being sent to Zendo by the Gauntlet's power, he was left to pick up the pieces. Jimmy wasn't completely alone, fortunately, as his other two friends, Corey and Schnickelfritz, were revived as well. This relief was short-lived, however, as Schnickelfritz and Corey decided to go their separate ways, leaving Jimmy alone to travel his own path. Except Jimmy wouldn't. Not as Jimmy, at least. After all the trials and tribulations he had been put through, he wasn't Jimmy anymore. No, he was now Jim. Days after embarking off to the south of Mount Ergia, Jim found himself in the Kolad district, a city made entirely of ice. This was his new home, and he would go on to do great things. Jim took up music and became arguably the greatest musician in Zendo, many calling him the Piano Man, singing songs Zenyu would come from all over to hear in his own icy auditorium. Through his learning in the areas of music, Jim also discovered the art of sound-based magic, and through years of reading, learning, and training, he gained the ability to wield it. Back at home, Jimmy had long wished he had had superpowers of some kind, admiring the heroes of stories and legends, and now through his hard work, he could be like them. That's where things took a turn for the unusual. One night, after an unprecedentedly mediocre performance, Jim found himself in a cold alley near the outskirts of the Kolad district. He was about to turn around and head back home, but something caught his eye. Underneath a pile of snow, he saw an orange glow grow brighter and brighter. Jim dug into the snow, revealing a small orange stone. Upon touching it, he could feel a power resonating in his vocal cords, and without a second thought, he pocketed it and headed home. The months following the discovery of the stone were some of the best Jim had ever lived. His musical performances had become better than ever, and his magical prowess had become even more powerful, until one day, something strange happened. Jim was in his kitchen preparing a bowl of his favorite fruit-flavored cereal, when suddenly a ruckus came from elsewhere in his home. He pondered the noise's origins for a moment, then was stricken with a panic.
"That better not be coming from where I think it is,"
muttered Jim in a panic. Unfortunately, it was, and when he entered the room where the ruckus came from, he found that the orange stone he had found kept in that room had disappeared, and the only window in the room was broken. Jim ran towards the window, all the while shouting,
"No, no, no, no!"
When he looked out the window, he saw a purple shape flying towards the Plotny forest, the glow of his orange stone in tow. Without hesitation, Jim gathered his gear and gave chase to the thief that had stolen his precious stone.